What's up guys, and welcome to my new series Animondays, where we talk about some of my favorite anime shows and films of all time. And we're starting with a show I just got around to watching recently, Angel Beats. Angel Beats originally aired in April of 2010 and consists of just 13 episodes, but the show manages to accomplish a lot with so few episodes. My wife came across this a few years ago on Netflix and tried to get me into it, but I didn't have much interest at the time. And recently she chose to revisit it, and I came in on the second episode and I was confused but intrigued, so we started from the beginning and now I want to share my thoughts with you guys. The story opens with the main character Otonashi waking up in the afterlife with no memory of how he got there. He's greeted by Yuri, the leader of the SSS, a rebellion organized to combat the show's antagonist Angel, and they want to remain in limbo rather than allowing their spirits to move on in peace. Over the course of the show, we follow Otonashi as he tries to make sense of the new world around him and the people in it, while also trying to regain his memories. Now the first thing I want to talk about is the characters of the show. Initially, there seems to be an overwhelming amount of characters to follow, but as the show moves along, the supporting cast fades to the background, while the show focuses on spotlighting specific characters for individual episodes and stories. Otonashi is the character we follow the most, and it was intriguing to learn about his backstory as well as seeing him interact with the SSS members throughout the show. You slowly see him begin to gravitate towards spending time with Angel and trying to turn her into an ally. And in some ways that worked, and in other ways some things felt forced, mainly their connection revealed at the end of the series, but overall his compelling backstory and decision to help his new friends find peace made Otonashi one of the better characters of the series. I liked Yuri for most of the show and thought she worked great as both a comedic character at times, but I also liked when she leapt into action. Her motivation for wanting to rebel against God made sense, and while I wasn't as pulled in by it, I understood her as a character. Towards the end of the series, she comes across at times as being a bit jealous of Angel, which was off-putting, but they managed to end things on a good note for her, and overall I thought she was pretty good. Angel, or Kaneda, was the most interesting character in the show aside from Otonashi, because throughout the series you're desperate to figure out what's the story with her, and what we learned just served to make me more confused than anything. Her emotionless demeanor and robot-like fighting abilities make her really cool but really perplexing. I wish the show provided better answers about her, but I'm mostly satisfied with what we got. My favorite character in the series was Hinata, because he's pretty much how I see myself functioning in a situation like this. He mainly hangs in the background, speaking up to crack jokes or goof off a bit, to break the tension or silence, and I really liked that he became one of the closest characters to Otonashi by the end and helped him in his mission to help the other members move on. Other characters stand out mainly because of catchphrases or being joke characters. Sheena, Nada, TK, and Masushita are cool characters who aren't explored much as far as backstory, but still manage to make a strong impression in their time they're given. TK is my favorite of this group because everything he does and says is either hilariously random or just plain cool, and you can't help but notice he sounds like Terry Bogard, and I kept waiting for him to say, "Okay!" Then you have characters who aren't main characters but got a fair amount of screen time through their backstories and interactions with the main cast, like Yui, whose backstory takes her from being an annoying character to one of the most sympathetic and understandable ones. Ayato was another character who got the spotlight for an episode and became more involved as the show went on. He goes from being a threat to the SSS to being a new recruit after it's revealed he had a tragic life as well and only really wanted to be acknowledged and accepted for who he is. Iwasawa is another character who made a big impression in a short amount of screen time. She's the lead singer for the girl band Girls Dead Monster, and after learning about her past life, she became one of my favorite characters in the series and made me wish she got to stick around a bit longer. Rounding out the characters are the ones who got the least amount of screen time and who were either purposely forgettable or, as I said, were purely joke characters, like Takayama, who insists on being called by his code name Christ, but no one ever does, and Takamatsu, who looks like the smart guy in the group, but his gimmick is looking like a nerd but actually being buff. Uyama is basically the most plain character with no special traits, and I literally forgot about him half the time. And Fujimaki came across as a mix between Nada and Hinata, and would often blend into the crowd. The best thing about the show was learning about why characters ended up in limbo to begin with. The basic criteria being that they had sad lives with terrible childhoods and never having a chance to just be a kid and enjoy life. Hence everyone being teens and having to go to high school in limbo. I wish the show had at least 20 to 25 episodes to spread out the story a bit, because towards the end it just seemed like a rush to wrap things up, which was disappointing, but given how much they were able to work into just 13 episodes, I can't complain too much. It just felt like at different times the show was either too ambitious or too simplistic with different aspects of the story and characters. Overall, I thought Angel Beats was a surprisingly good anime with characters I enjoyed and at times very captivating storytelling. I watched the subtitled version of the show, so I can't comment on the dub, but in my experience, I tend to prefer the original, with the exception being Yu Yu Hakusho and some aspects of DBZ. It had great voice acting, at times gorgeous animation, and fitted music especially for dramatic scenes, as well as the opening and ending themes. I'm going to give Angel Beats an 8.3 out of 10. The premise pulls you in at the start, and at only 13 episodes, it's a quick show to digest and rewatch. It has some flaws like pacing and tone at times, but ultimately wins you over with the characters and storytelling. If you've seen Angel Beats, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments, and let me know what you guys think of this new series. And if you have an anime, film, or show you want me to talk about, just let me know down in the comments and I'll try to work that into a future video as well. If you liked the video, leave a like and share it around to help the channel a bit, and subscribe to catch new videos like this every week. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on the next one.